Hello everybody and welcome to Sunday's regular edition of Wardy's Waffle. Out in the sunshine at the minute. This is Saturday, just getting this video edited. Quite a lot going on at the minute, but just before I touch on what we've been doing this week and give you the updates, I just wanted to touch on an article that was on online Guardian. I think it was Helen Horton, one of the Guardian reporters. Really makes your blood boil. They get this dramatic headline saying bee killing pesticides found at alarming levels in British or English rivers. And this is the headline. I've just put this clip up now. I'll just stand to one side so you can see it. So this is it just here. Really infuriating. I found it on Twitter. I've responded. This is my response as well on Twitter. You can't let these things go because it's just not right. And what's really galling is the fact that they mention neonics that are banned in Europe. They are not banned in Europe. At the last count, there was 12 countries gave emergency authorization to use it on oilseed rape. Our government will not do that. They've given us emergency authorization to use it on sugar beet, but that is such a small area. I think at the last count, the UK had something like 42 million hectares of land in the UK producing food, and the amount of land we had last year producing sugar beet was about 840,000 hectares. So you can see the amount of land that we have that had neonics on, and not all that 840,000 hectares of sugar beet had the neonic seed treatment on. I did here, and I'm stood in our sugar beet field just here, one of our fields at the moment, and this did have it. But what we need to remember is if we don't have neonics on sugar beet and we get virus yellows, and that is an aphid that comes in carrying a virus, we then would have to overall spray the whole field probably 3 times to try and control this aphid. And I'll use the word try because the success rate of an overall insecticide is not great, but you're damaging far more beneficials, far more insects than you do when you use a seed treatment, because you're spraying the soil surface. With a seed treatment, it's only on the seed, and these beet rows here are every 20 inches or half a metre apart. So that headline you saw is really, really infuriating when you see the amount of oilseed rape, the millions and millions of hectares of oilseed rape grown in Europe that are treated with neonics, yet it's picked up on. But the important thing here to remember is a lot of household pets, cats and dogs, are treated with the flea treatment routinely. Now that treatment is neonic insecticide, and then the dogs go and swim in the river. So they don't put this in the article because it's quite clearly the dogs and household pets that are contributing to this. We as professional farmers, professional growers cannot use neonics, yet millions and millions of household pets are treated routinely with the with the insecticide that we're banned from using in a professional way. It really just makes your blood boil when you see these articles. Anyway, that's enough of the rant from me, but I just think we need to put this out there. We need to counteract all the false rubbish that is out there in the media about farmers. And if you look at this on Twitter, I'll put the link in the description of this video. If you look at it on Twitter, and you'll see some of the comments from the British public are just unbelievable because they clearly don't realise. So I think it's up to us to promote what we're doing and what is actually happening out there, and how we are if you like, not allowed to use neonics in growing the crop. And incidentally, when oilseed rape was at its height, which was about 10 years ago, there was over 700,000 hectares of oilseed rape grown in the UK. That is now down to 300 since the neonic ban that was 10 years ago, because cabbage stem flea beetle is the one that really damages the crop. And we've a job to grow oilseed rape now in this country, because the beetle absolutely annihilates the crop, and that is why the area has dropped. And the problem we've got now is the area's dropped. We're short of oilseed rape, we're short of oil, we're short of rape that will make oil. It's now being imported from other countries that's grown with and using neonics. It's just idiotic. Anyway, that's enough for me. I'll get too wound up if I keep going on about this. This week I'm just stood in this sugar beet field. We're just toying with the idea of lifting sugar beet. You can't quite see in the sun. This is the field that was planted on May the 5th. So I think we might hopefully get some of this up in the next week to 10 days. This week's update, we are finally looking at the sprayer. I went over and had a look at the sprayer, got a full update on that and why we've had the delay. So that's right at the start of this update. Also, we have got the Lincolnshire Police are here. They have done their launch of Operation Galileo, which is their hare coursing initiative. They've done that from the farm here, so I've clips of that as well. And also, I've got one more thing. I can't remember what that is now. Anyway, you'll see that towards the end of the update. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and apologise for giving you this rant, but it really does make my blood boil, some of these articles in some of these newspapers. Anyway, here we go with the update. I've just got into Newark, just a Chinese or Cantonese takeaway. I've just remembered what the other thing was that we've got on the update, and that is a look with Eric from Warwick University at the Beans. We're not quite there combining them because of the weather. We want a few fine days after it stops raining, but we've got a full update from Eric as well in this video. Anyway, I'm going to go and collect this Cantonese takeaway now, and we'll see you at the end of the update. Just come with our Australian friends to Woodhall Spa. We're going to Petwood for a cream tea, so housings are nearby, so we're going to come and have a check of the sprayer. We understand it is virtually ready. One or two used ones there, and I think there we go, there is ours. You can see it's got Warders Waffle stickers on the front windscreen. So here we are, I've got Andy with us. We are going to go through the sprayer. First time I've seen it for a few weeks since I've had a lot of work done to it, which is great. So we'll just go around one or two things. We'll go in a cab in a minute and have a look at that, but looking really good. First thing I've noticed, which I know we came in to look at it, is this filling point at the front, and viewers might think it looks a bit ugly stuck out the front. That, and it does, and it's
a little bit
at the minute, but explain, it's not there all the time.
No, so this is for the, what did you say earlier, 3 to 4 weeks a year.
Yeah, that's it.
You use liquid fur. Obviously with your custom Bowser, you can drive straight up to the front of the Bowser and
yeah.
into the field. Load up, so this is a 3-inch pipe.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 taps on here. Essentially what you can do when you're running your liquid fur, you have the entire tap on so it's easy to access.
Yes.
So Ruben isn't clambering under the machine.
Yep.
When it's filthy. And then when it's done, essentially 4 bolts here, cam lock adapter here, and this entire front section comes off.
Yep.
Cap the end piece here.
So there, you cap that off, just there.
And then you're essentially back to a standard sprayer.
So then all that we left on the spare, so this tap will be on permanently, that will be on just back there, but all this lot will come off and it'll just be stored in the shed.
That's right.
Yeah, and then that tap, we said that if the crop catches it.
Yeah, it goes backwards. So we have thought about it.
Yeah.
The tap's been done in that way.
Yeah, perfect.
Last thing you want to do is any residual fur.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And then the last thing as well we asked you to change, and I can see it looks fantastic, is that aluminium tube or the pipe that carries liquid fertiliser.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It just goes straight into the top of the tank.
So that has been very much streamlined, and you had to change the boom support.
Yeah, we've put a custom boom rest on it just so that it can tuck up.
So just through. So on top of the cabin light bar with something else there. What's that one?
That's just an antenna for Electronic to be able to remote support into the machine, just so we can see the TMC side at any time.
Well, I think that's going to be so useful. So when they're back in Denmark, if there's an issue, they can just
precisely
go straight into it.
And we can also pull data from it whenever you work.
Yeah.
If it's doing something that's funky or it's doing something that's good, we can actually take that data straight away.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. So yeah, looking good. The extra things you've done on here as well as the hydraulic pipe.
Yeah.
Hydraulic solid pipes there, and then also stainless return with pipes there as well. So yeah, looking good. Grey wheels, which is different. You're normally on those dark colour, the same as the side panels there.
Yeah.
And but that's great for us. So yeah, it looks really good. So we're in the cab. Andy's here with us. We've just had a bit of a look at outside at what's changes have been made. We've had a few hold-ups with the sprayer, we all know that, but I think fair to say that because us being us and me being who I am, that I wanted something a bit different to what you normally supply. A little bit. And so we've gone Green Star instead of your normal TMC system.
Yep.
And you've never done anything like this before, and so just for viewers, what have you had to do to make the Green Star talk to your system?
We've completely had to rewrite how the TMC is done. So
and TMC is total machine control.
That's right, yeah. So essentially the way that the Hauser machines worked in the past was it was our own closed loop CAN-based system. It was our system that did everything. It did the GPS, it did the auto section control, everything like that. To introduce the John Deere side, we've essentially had to change where our TMC is getting those messages from. And that moves us away from the closed loop CAN network into the monster that's Isobus.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of applications of Isobus in the marketplace, but actually it's ISO implement on ISO implement, so it all speaks the same language.
Yeah.
For us, it's taking that Isobus language in the 50 or so years of the various codes that Isobus is, understanding what those commands and signals are, and basically the clever bit that Lycotronic have done in their, well, I think it's about 600 hours of testing.
And Lycotronic, they're the company in Denmark
Yes.
that do your
That's right.
all your electronic systems.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're the ones that have worked the CAN-based system since 2007, since the initial TMC machines. And yeah, in the 600 hours of testing that they've done in Denmark, and I think we've done about 60 hours of testing over here so far, is to essentially take those Isobus messages and convert them into what we need.
Right, and I think because we brought the dome, the receiver that's behind us, we'll look at that in a minute, and we also brought the screen to you, and you sent them over to Denmark, and,
We did.
and Lycotronic have had those, haven't they?
Yeah,
Testing
they've had them
and-
there, and that really was a risk reduction exercise. It was, in theory, this is electronic, it's software, it should just plug in, but actually we took the decision between the two companies with yourself and said, actually, we'll send them out there so they can plug it into their test rig and actually do the tests physically on the products, just so that when it turns up on day one here, it doesn't work for an unknown reason.
And I think the reason people might say, well, why did we go down this route of wanting Green Star on the sprayer instead of sticking with what you know? And our experience of our GPS system at the minute, we've got Trimble on a lot of machines, and on the case we've had it, we've got the RX John Deere, and the Green Star system on that, the steering is just second to none. It's so accurate, whereas we've had problems for the last few years. And so I think we're going to switch gradually to Green Star on everything. The technology that they have and the capability that they have is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's the background bit in the operations centre as well.
Yeah.
To see essentially this machine, to put a map online as to what it's applied within a sort of a metre zone on a map is incredible. And I've had it, everything in the John Deere screen so far hasn't been drawn by the sprayer. So I've done all the boundaries on the operations centre, I've done all the guidance tracks of the AB lines and imported them wirelessly into the machine. In fact, I was upstairs doing it whilst Alex, our senior technical engineer, was in the cabin. The screen bings and here goes, oh, here's my guidance track, here's my boundary, and off we go.
And you say, how many hours have you had doing all of this testing, you think?
So I think Lycotronic clocked up, I think they were about 574 hours.
Incredible.
About 574.
Yeah, about incredible.
On the screen. And we've had this pretty much between various people here. We've had this machine running for 8 hours a day, testing it for the last 3 weeks or so.
So the idea is that when we do our recommendations on Gatekeeper on the office computer, we'll go into the Green Star system, into Ops Center, put them into that. The sprayer here screen will be able to pick them up, pull them into it, and then when Ruben does the spraying, start time, stop time, wind speed, all that will be able to be there, and it'll be pulled straight back into Gatekeeper.
Yeah, and we've really, I think almost the most complex part about what we've done is the simplification of it.
Yeah.
Is making sure that the John Deere is telling us what we need and nothing else, and we're telling the John Deere what it needs and nothing else. And so far, we're really excited to get it actually out on farm and working properly.
It'll be great.
But so far, it has proved really, really impressive.
So this is the roof of the cab, various controls, aircon up there, radio, good visibility out the front, then across to the various screens. This is the iPad. Just explain here, please, Andy, there's still going to be quite a lot of the sort of TMC controls are going to be on here.
Yeah, so the iPad itself is an iPad, it's a screen. I'll load it now. We're not connected to the machine, so it will just pop up with a warning to say that it can't load.
Yeah.
But that is the TMC screen.
Yeah.
And that'll be your road screen with your rev meter, fuel gauge, speedometer, and then your spray screen with your nozzle selection, rate selection, etc. So
this terminal here is the one that will be able to operate a lot of the spare things, your auto section control,
auto section
and
control,
and steering, mapping,
steering.
are on there. You can't, it's not switched on yet, but this is the rest of the layout of the cab here. Really nice, spacious cab, and it is a class cab, is it? Class Forager cab?
It is.
Yeah, perfect. And then just going to the back here, we've got the Green Star, the receiver on there. Just explain as well, please, just why, you're right, you can stay there,
No,
just why we've put it behind there and not on the cab roof.
So it was a recommendation from John Deere and Solsteer, who do the auto steer system.
Yeah.
The top of the boom rest there is pretty much above the front steering wheels.
Yeah.
And it just means where you've got your GPS offsets in your inside the auto
Yeah.
steer program, it's just a lot more responsive.
Right.
It's almost like it's got to calculate
Yeah.
less because it's got less distance to translate.
Brilliant. Yeah, perfect. No, that's good. Right, that's had a quick look round. Looking forward to get this machine. We're going to come with Ruben next week, just finally do some testing in your field here. Have you enjoyed doing it?
It's been an experience.
A good experience.
A good experience.
That's what we want.
We've learnt a lot. We've
Yeah.
done something different,
Yeah.
and hopefully gives us a chance to repeat it. In the
Yeah,
future.
exactly. Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll see how it goes, but we'll be back next week to take it out in the field here before it comes back to the farm, which hopefully will be in the next sort of 10 days or so.
Hopefully.
Brilliant. Thanks, Andy.
No problem.
So that's had a visit to Howsam, so you've seen what the sprayer's like, how we're getting on with it. I've just brought John and Glenn, and Rhonda's here as well. We've just come to the Petwood Hotel at Woodhall Spa, and I'll just turn the camera around. Stunning building here with a huge amount of history from the Second World War. So this is it. This is where the Dam Busters airmen stayed during the raid, when all the Lancasters flew over to Germany dropping the bouncing bombs. Huge amount of history in here as well. Look at these rooms, just stunning. Afternoon tea will be served in a minute. We have just had the most fantastic tea delivered to the table. Look at that. And this was a Christmas present to Rhonda and I from Rhonda's brother Pete and Kathy. Thank you if you're watching. Glenn and John from Australia.
Cheers.
Fantastic. Cheers. Yeah, cheers. With a cup of English tea. Brilliant. This is the bar where the pilots always used to congregate and after raids. Just huge amount of memorabilia, photographs. Yeah, that's Guy Gibson with his black Labrador, and I think the black Labrador got run over on the main road outside RAF Scampton near Lincoln when he was out on a bombing raid, and he came home and found the dog had been run over just before he landed. So it's time to get another update on the beans, this is the navy beans, and I've got Eric here from Warwick University come over today. This is Tuesday. We had 14 millimetres of rain yesterday. Some of the regular viewers will know we didn't manage to get these beans harvested at the weekend because of problems getting the McDon header onto our combine, or our combine lifting it. So you've had a walk across the field, so we'll just have a look, just turn the camera around, we'll just have a look at the 4 different samples we've got here. Right, so these are the 4 that we're growing, all the different, we've got 3 varieties here, but we've got some different drilling dates and things. So where are you going to start?
So we've got some Capulet, this first one here.
So the Capulet, that's the one that hopefully we're going to go for the canning, go to make the baked beans. You can see there, pods, there's the beans inside, still very bright, very clean sample, no staining yet.
And what we're looking to see is the pods themselves. I mean, there are some spots occurring on the outside, but the important thing is that's not coming through to the inside.
No.
That means that all the seeds are really clean.
Yeah, they're really clean, yeah.
So as you're waiting for your conditions to dry, these will definitely still be ready to harvest in a week's time.
Yes.
We probably have a couple weeks leeway.
Yeah.
So Godiva, so we're talking about this as a blonde colored kidney bean.
Yeah, still nice colour.
Yeah.
And this is for the sort of cooking market.
So the pods are very clean.
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce these as a dry bean that people can buy to cook at home. But very clean sample.
Yes.
And again, with those, you could at least, 2.5, 3 weeks.
Big pods as well, aren't they? Very long pods those are compared to the Capulet.
Yeah, very much longer.
Yeah.
I guess the issue you had with these plants, the plants themselves, they are a very definite bush.
Yeah.
Whereas the Capulet will have a slight vining characteristic. So these plants, for whatever conditions when they were germinating, they've stayed shorter than they normally would be.
Yep.
On our farm, they were a good half length or maybe twice the height.
Yep.
And because of these long pods on a short plant, as they get long, as you're finding, they're tending to be touching the ground or they're laying on the ground.
Yeah.
And then this third variety, so this is a black bean called Olivia. And these seeds are looking quite shiny, very clean.
Yes.
The pods themselves aren't showing any spots at this stage.
No, they're still clean.
Now, and the important thing about this variety is looking at the plant themselves. So the knife's going to be cutting about right there.
Yeah.
All the pods are above that line.
Yes.
So all that should go into the combine. You should be able to get a full harvest off of that.
Yeah.
And that's what we found on our farm. Of the three, the Olivia, with just a standard combine header, was fantastic the way it came off. It was very clean cuts. There was very few seeds put on the ground, left on the ground. Yeah. And we're estimating about 2.7 tons per hectare in the small area.
And that's what you've done. Yeah. Great.
So very, very different beans.
Yeah, they are very different. When you look there, the three different ones, you've got the Capulet there, the Godiva there, and the Olivia there. So yeah, totally different. But just remember, the Olivia and the Godiva there are for the cooking market, where they're the ones to go in the baked beans.
Yeah.
While Eric and I have just been looking at the beans, little Frankie's here is digging down to Australia by the look of it. Frankie? She's found something in there. So this is the edge of the field. I'm not going in the field where it's a bit better shot because I've obviously still got my boot on, but just looking here at the pods and how low they are to the soil. There's still some quite upright off the ground, one or two right down on the ground, but when you look there, there's a good lot a few inches above the ground, which is good. Just looking at this plant that we've pulled up, Eric was just saying that the stem there, you can see there's a bit of discolouring on the stem, and that's where
you can see this other stem still has some green to it.
Yes, there.
So that'll be sturdy for another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But that one, with the way it's starting to break down, it's a fungal infection that's going to be making that very brittle and fragile.
So we need to obviously get this harvested before that really takes much effect.
So in 2 weeks' time, this would probably blow over. Could blow over.
Yeah. It's Thursday today. We've got a yard full of cars because Lincolnshire Police are launching their winter rural crime crusade from here, called Operation Galileo, and that is their hare coursing programme. And we've got the BBC and ITV here as well, and they're busy setting up in the yard here. So we'll have a look at what they're doing and have a chat with a few of the guys. Martin Green, who is our rural crime specialist. You can see it's very windy. I hope you can hear me all right. So as you can see, lots going on here. No, I haven't been a naughty boy. Not yet anyway. Everything's lined up and they wanted a shot. Got the drone now ready to go up as well. I've got Kev here from the Lincolnshire Police Drones team, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Kev, if you're regular viewers, you'll have seen Kev about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, you came with your...
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. The big drone that was about £40,000. This one we've got here, we'll just go down. If you just want to kneel down, Kev, if you're all right. like that. We've got one down here. So this drone here, what's this one used for?
Yeah, so this is our latest generation, really. So that last one, £20,000
Right.
on the last one. These ones now, like everything, technology moves on.
Yeah.
So this one is the latest one. So these ones actually about half of that price actually, just under 10. All weather flying. You've seen it today. The
Yes.
wind's been horrendous today. It's throwing down with rain. So all weather, literally anything we can throw at it. 40 minutes flight time. Now there's 4 cameras on this one, Andrew. So we've got the thermal camera, which is what you saw before. Yeah.
So is that the thermal camera there?
The big one is the zoom camera, so that's
Yeah.
got a really impressive zoom on it. It'll do what's called 16 times optical and 200 times a hybrid.
Yeah.
The thermal camera is on the front as well. We've got a wide angle camera. We've got a first person view camera on there as well. It's got sensors all the way around it, so it can pick up any obstacles, so stop it crashing into a tree or anything like that.
Yeah.
And 40 minutes flight time, so it's a really impressive piece of kit for much cheaper than the
Yeah.
last generation that we had as well. So it's
And
not about price.
is this the sort of thing you would put up in situations where you're looking at hare courses and things?
This is our standard everyday drone now.
Yeah.
So we've really moved away to just having one make and model, which is this one.
Yeah.
Because it'll fly in all the weather we want, but it's good. It's a good all-round drone. So if you want crime scene, so to give you an example, I did a scene the other week from what was a serious incident. Took off. It took 11 minutes. Took 400 photographs. It stitches them all together and gives us what we call a big ortho mosaic.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that is that we can zoom in and in and in into that.
Wow.
So some really impressive software features on this as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And this sort of thing, how many of these have you got in the force?
So we've got 4 operational: Lincoln, Boston, Grantham and Skegness.
Yep.
They're the 4 operational bases, and we've got one which we use for training
Right.
and events as well. So we've got a 5th one that's not dedicated to that, which we use for
and,
events.
and how many of your colleagues have actually trained or would actually use this?
So with there's 23 in total police officers, so they're response officers, so they might be at a domestic, they might be at a shop theft
Yep.
or whatever, but then they've got a drone in the car, just like they carry a taser, they carry the drone, and they can go off and put the drone up and use it in an incident where it needs it.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Kev, ever so much for what you do. You're doing great work and helping support us in the countryside.
Cheers.
It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So I hope you enjoyed that update. Thank you very much for watching. Fingers crossed that we can get the beans done sometime this week. The forecast isn't very settled, but we just need to make the most of it, because I think looking at what Eric said in this clip, you've just heard him say that we've got probably another 10 days before they start to go off, which we can't have that happen. Anyway, fingers crossed we get them done. Lovely sunset behind me, by the way. You can see over this sugar beet. And Nala's just to the side this new hedge. This is still up at the heath at the minute because we haven't moved into the new house yet, but we won't be long, hopefully. Anyway, thanks for watching this update, and we'll see you midweek. Yep, see you midweek. We'll do another one then on Wednesday night. Thank you. Cheers.